Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening for everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We will have a panel discussion really quickly about Salesforce testing and how it fits within with Katalon. Before we go any further, I'd like to just give the opportunity to the other people on the call to provide a quick intro, 10-second intro on themselves, and then we will move over in the agenda and setting up the stage for this webinar. So let's start with Saket, our guest of honor.
Hey, thanks, Mihai. So hello everyone. I am a delivery manager with QualityKiosk and currently handling multiple projects, especially around the Salesforce and working with them to deliver quality solutions around automation testing.
Great stuff. Thank you, Saket. Gokul.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Gokul. I head up our solution engineering team here at Katalon. On a day-to-day basis, I talk to a lot of customers like you about different challenges that you encounter in automation and how we can solve things for you. So very nice to meet you all, and really excited for this conversation here.
Great stuff. Thank you, Gokul. Victor.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Victor. I work as a solution engineer here in Katalon, and my day-to-day activities are to helping customers going to achieve their quality management. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, Victor. Okay, and myself, Mihai Grigorescu. I'm a director of our global alliances, strategic alliances here at Katalon. We manage a bunch of both global and regional system integrators, GSIs or RSIs. And we have the pleasure of working today with and presenting this webinar together with our friends from QualityKiosk. That being said, let's move on to the next slide. Let's set up the agenda and the expectations for today. So as you can see here, we've done the welcome introductions. We will do a quick introduction on Katalon and maybe a bit on QualityKiosk as well. Maybe Saket, you can spend a few words before you start your presentation around who QualityKiosk is. Then Gokul is going to talk to us about the Katalon capabilities and the Salesforce testing challenges that we've experienced in as observed from some of our clients. Then we'll talk about QualityKiosk success story. So Saket will take us through their journey and what they've been able to achieve thus far. And finally, we will leave the best for last, which is Victor doing a demo and going through all the technical questions that you might have. Now, we do have a Q&A form at the end of this presentation, but please, by all means, use the chat window and the questions as well from Zoom to ask your questions and to communicate with us. So please, by all means, let's make it as interactive as possible. Having said that, let's do a quick introduction on Katalon with the next slide, please. Oh, right. The first, it's actually the next slide first and then the poll. Was the other way around? There we go. So just to set the stage really quickly here, we are hosting a bunch of webinars, and for those who have been to our guidewire testing 2 weeks ago, it's exactly the same slide. So apologies for seeing the same information once again. However, it's important for those people who haven't seen this to understand where we're heading with these webinars. So that being said, we do have a product-focused webinar on everything that has to do with Katalon. So we've done the migrating Selenium to Katalon with QualityKiosk, X-ray integration, guidewire testing together with our client Saga. Now we're doing the Salesforce testing. The next one aligned by our marketing team is Duck Creek together with LTI Mindtree, and then SAP testing with Bright Test, another partner of ours. And then we will be focusing on generative AI. We have some exciting news where we have ChatGPT coming out with generative functions for creating test cases straight into Jira. So that'll be done a bit later on. And then we also have autonomous test generation features presented as part of the webinars in the next series. Now, with that in mind, we also have the industry-focused events, which have nothing to do necessarily with Katalon, such as State of Quality Report. There's going to be one in Trends in Automation on the 26th of June, presented by a bunch of folks from the United States. And then we will have a whole other series of webinars around AI, such as ethics, compliance, adoption, distribution, as well as women in test, which is obviously around professionals in the industry, inclusion, diversity, and so on and so forth. And with that, let's put out the first poll. We would like to get your feelings and your thoughts about what you would like to see more of. Would you like to see more of the product-focused webinars, more of the industry-focused webinars, or both? So, Han, can you please pull up the poll? If not, that's fine. I mean, we can go to the next slide. All right. So yeah, Zoom is not behaving today. So let's talk a bit about Katalon, who we are and what we're doing in the industry. As many of you know already, and as many of you don't know, Katalon was created back in 2016 as an affordable and open capability that was designed for the community, with a mission to empower teams of all sizes to deliver exceptional digital experiences faster. And for those who don't know this fun fact, our CEO and founder Vulam is also the founder of Copyton, as well as QA Symphony. You might know it as Qtest, which was then acquired later on by Tricentis. So from 2016, since we launched, to 2019, where we had our first enterprise version, to today, we have currently about 2,000 paid customers with about 20% market footprint, which is fantastic given the fact that we're still a startup moving into a scale up. In terms of our partnership strategy and partner-led growth, we are looking at about over 200 global regional tech partners as well that we are currently engaging with, and we are also present on the AWS marketplace as part of our hyperscaler strategy. But most importantly, what we have tried focusing on in the last couple of years is on a product as well as a partner-led growth strategy, and that was looking at enterprise package applications. So obviously, we're looking at the big names over here. We're looking at Salesforce, looking at Workday, Oracle, SAP, ServiceNow, Microsoft, etc. They were also looking at building Katalon in such a way that it caters for niche solutions like Guidewire, IFS, Selenium migrations, and other capabilities as well. And then we obviously focus on specific partnership offerings, such as managed services and testing as a service that are particularly or specific to a partner or two at the time. That's pretty much in a nutshell how we've been operating. And moving to the next slide, we'll talk very briefly about what we do support and what we don't support. So normally, this is a slide that we spend a bit of time on, but for the interest of time, as we want to hear Saket talking and see Victor's demo, we'll cut this a bit short. So in terms of SAP and Oracle, everything that's on premises, we support with a caveat that it's most likely going to be 50% success rate, like in the case of SAP with SAP GUI. But with Oracle EBS, everything that's on-prem with all the Oracle applets and all the Java portlets we do not support. But everything that has to do with SAP Web or Oracle Web or anything that's cloud native or any modern technology, Katalon is fully supported. We do have a bunch of videos that you can see in there. We have the Katalon community, and we also have some success stories around Oracle FlexCube for anybody interested. In terms of others, we do have Microsoft D365 PBI. So we're using Katalon can be used for testing the Microsoft CRM. We have Workday, we have ServiceNow, we have Guidewire. As I mentioned before, we had the Guidewire webinar 2 weeks ago. We also can support IFS and Pega. And what we do not support and what we will not be supporting going forward is a mainframe. So anything that has to do with green screen, everything that has to do with AS400 types of applications, we will never support, as well as the actual clients of Citrix or any other VPN solutions. We can use Citrix and other VPN clients to access the application on the test per se, but we do not test those particular clients on their own. And then we save the best for last, and our topic of conversation for today, Salesforce. And in a nutshell, we support everything in Salesforce. We do have a website with a link over there. We do have a best practice blog. and together with another partner, who was not able to join us today, we've developed a bunch of accelerators with some test cases as well as some assessments, and it's quite similar to what QualityKiosk has also completed today. We also have a bunch of YouTube videos that I strongly suggest and encourage you to go out and review. In the next slide, you will see where we have this link with some of the videos. So next slide, Han, please. Right. So these are some basic end-to-end script creation and execution using Katalon Studio and Runtime Engine, and also very importantly, building up scripts on iOS as well as an Android device. So please feel free to see them on our YouTube channel. They're all there, available to you effectively immediately, and they're quite self-explanatory. There's no intros, outros, no unnecessary text, just some elevator music, and everybody's happy. With that being said, I will stop my piece right here, and I will hand over to Gokul. We do have a poll in here, so I'm not sure if Han is able to raise the poll now.
Poll is started.
Okay, great stuff. So Gokul, over to you.
Yeah, great. So I wanted to cover quickly some of the key challenges in Salesforce testing, right? The first one is, of course, obvious. Manual testing is not feasible. There's a lot of feature sets that are constantly releasing. There are continuous updates that you have to release in Salesforce. So ultimately, manual testing is definitely not a feasible option, right? But setting up test frameworks and working through different methodologies and, paying higher costs of QA engineers to just focus on Salesforce is also a problem. And then, having a Salesforce release schedule versus your own test maintenance schedule, like a lot of times it doesn't match, right? That's number 3. And then the last thing is, there are multiple people upgrading from classic Salesforce to Lightning, and there's just a bunch of versions that are being changed. There's a lot of migration happening. So just all of these are like common challenges for customers. The last but not least, about object recognition, right? The way Salesforce does object recognition and dynamic element capture is just difficult within Salesforce. So next slide, please. Yeah, so how Katalon can help? I think we can talk about that in more detail. But essentially, Katalon can help you with a low-code test automation platform, which can help with API integration testing, as well as being able to customize specifically Salesforce testing for you. So we have gone through different modules within Salesforce and tried and automated most of the modules and have created predefined scripts for it as well, which is available on our GitHub site, which you can download if you wanted to. But here are some of the benefits that customers have seen by using Katalon for Salesforce testing, which includes 25 to 50% in script maintenance costs and effective rate cards as well. Next slide. Yeah, so I'll walk you through the success story, and then I'll hand it over to Saket for his part of the webinar. So Saket, over to you. If you go to slide 12, Han, thank you.
Thanks, Gokul. I'll take it from here. So before I start, hello everyone, and let me introduce QualityKiosk. So QualityKiosk Technologies is a pioneer in performance engineering. We provide testing and quality as a service, across the entire spectrum of quality, right from manual testing, automation, be it performance, production monitoring, DevOps, right up to CI/CD pipeline and implementation of all of that. So we are a digital quality engineering partners for some of the largest banking, financial services, telecommunication companies, and automobile and manufacturing companies. So that's a bit about what QualityKiosk is all about. Now, let me walk you through, one of the success stories like we are talking about, for the Salesforce. So let me walk you through one of the clients that we have and, how we went about it. So the portfolio of the client was like, it is a multinational company with, close to $6 billion of revenue. Its digital landscape include, e-commerce, online sales, mobile application, there's data analytics, there's social media engagement, IoT and sensors technology as well. For their CRM, they use Salesforce, and specifically they use their manufacturing cloud. So that's just about what the client is. And before I, discuss more about the solution that we came up for the client, let me take you through the challenges that we came up, with this client and how they were addressed. So the main challenges was that, the client is operating in 100 plus countries, and each of these countries had different rules which were implemented in SFDC. So, in order to test each of those countries and all the various functions within those countries in SFDC was a very tedious task. Also, the implementation solution that we currently had, they had a lot of changes coming in as CRs, and before any of these changes could move to production, they had to be tested and signed off by the testing team. And as the complete testing was manual, it was very time and resource expensive. The third major challenge was, of these 100 plus countries, 20 countries use a different language. It was Spanish, it was French, and many other languages for which we had to test in their local language. So testing that and doing that automation or just testing that as such is also very difficult, because you would need that kind of language people as well available for testing. The other challenges that we had is Salesforce has its own releases across the year, which also needs to be tested across the solution. The next major challenge was there were a lot of production tickets that were raised, and the support team had to go an extra mile and had to close it in a set SLA, making it even more challenging. And last not the least, that even Gokul touched upon, one of the major challenges across the industry is the integration testing. So their Salesforce application also had integrations with the database, external APIs, and third-party applications like SAP via CPI. So testing these integrations and ensuring data consistency and accuracy across the end-to-end solution was also a major challenge and time-consuming. So now that we understand the challenges that the client had, let's look at how did we take care of this, and what were the solutions that we came up with. So to start with, there was a lot that was to be tested, like you understand, from the use case here, and it was to be tested very frequently as well. So it was a straightforward decision to go ahead with and recommend automation. Also, now that you see, because there were so many test cases, there was a lot to be automated as well, and we wanted it to be quick, economical, and easy to maintain going forward. So the tool of choice was again obvious. It was Katalon, and we partnered with Katalon and took this forward. So what we did is we automated the entire regression suite, each country using Katalon, one country at a time. So while doing this, right, in the process of building these scripts for each of the functions, we were also able to create, built a reusable components for each of these functions. So for example, the sales order module. Okay, next slide, please. So these are the sample workflows that we have in the Salesforce application. So let's look at the typical sales order journey, right? So we log in, we select the distributor, we go to place order section, fill up the mandatory fields, verify the order created, and approve it if required. So on the right side, I know it's pretty small and it's tied up, but you can see the different validations and the different checks that we typically do from a testing perspective. So what I'm trying to say here is the flow is almost same for most of the countries. and or not even countries, even for different, if you move to a different client, the flow for sales order would remain the same. Just the few, there would be changes in the mandatory fields or the approval flows or the number of fields that are required to be filled might change here and there, but more or less the flow is the same. So what we did is we were able to reuse the same flow across the upcoming countries that we picked up for automation. We were able to create a reusable repository of such journeys for multiple functionalities, and not just, so if you go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so you can see, so for so we were able to create these reusable repositories or test journeys, which were not just necessarily for that particular client, but you are able to reuse it across multiple different clients as well. So all this helped us to accelerate and build process for the regression scripts, and the entire regression pack was hence built up in a very short duration of time. So if you go back to the next slide, go to the next slide, Han, thanks. Yeah, so that's how the reusable components helped us really. The next major thing on the multiple language support. So what we did is the same thing, the same flow was referenced, but the object properties that were referenced were different for that specific country or that specific language. So, there was a lot of reusability on the language front as well. Just the object property or the repository was different. Also, as and when the CRs came in, we were able to update that, and the automation scripts were run. Also, all the scripts were parameterized and data driven, so we could even run it on any other environment, any other lower environment as well, that as they had multiple different staging environments. The second part of the solutioning that we did was around the integrating this regression suite with their CI/CD pipeline. So the tool that the client had for integration or for CI/CD was GitHub, and we used GitHub Actions and workflows here. So every time there was a change pushed in the environment by the developer, a sanity pack would run automatically, and the results were shared with the owners and the testers. And secondly, the defect logging in Jira was also automatically done, as part of the pipeline. So that also we were able to integrate Jira with Katalon and then put it in the pipeline with CI/CD. So that's the solution there. And now let's come to the actual benefits on the ground that was achieved by the client. So definitely, like you see, earlier it was all manual, and now, with regression for a single country, with automation with Katalon, it took, close to 3 hours, but earlier it used to take like 15 hours. So that's all along saving there. Now, because of the reduced cycle time, the time to market was also much quicker. Also, one of the challenges that I mentioned earlier was, the client was facing a lot of high number of tickets. So they had like close to 70 tickets per month before this automation. But post automation, the number was brought down to single digit per month, and it's kind of reducing month on month as well. Now, apart from typical testing, use case that we were able to deliver with Katalon, what we also did was, this solution was used for test data creation in lower environments. We were also able to, do production validation of the workflows. Also, production acceptance test was run on periodic basis using CI/CD to monitor the live health of the application. Also, one other use case that I would like to bring in here is the client had a CLM, or like we call it, the contract lifecycle management module. So how this works is, depending upon the function, department, region, agreement years, or other few parameters, the number of approvers and who those approvers are is decided. Okay. So this was for each of the different business units like service, transportation, supply, real estate, etc. So there was a lot of verification that had to be done to check whether the right approver or approvers are coming for so-and-so combination of the contract that we are planning to create. So this was an exercise that their test team used to do every month, and used to spend close to 10 days. A team of around 4 to 5 people spend 10 days to do this entire validation manually. We came up with a simple solution. We created a single script in Katalon, which took inputs from an Excel sheet and ran across multiple BUs and validated that entire task of, I think it was close to 10,000 different combinations in just 2 days. So, we were able to save close to 20 man days per month here. So that's how we delivered improved quality and, saving considerable effort for this client. So that's all from my end. Now let me hand it over to Victor, who will give us a demo and showcase, how easy it is to automate Salesforce using Katalon. Thanks, everyone. Over to you, Victor.
Yeah, thank you, Saket, for giving such detailed view. Let me just share my screen. Yeah. So guys, this is the Katalon IDE that we use to build your test cases. As Saket is pointing about the reusable component. So the scenario that I'll be showcasing today is about a lead creation flow. So what I did is I first log into Salesforce, try to create a lead, and then I'll just close my browser. So here the 3 steps that log into Salesforce, create a lead and close the application are 3 different test cases in itself. And I'm using the reusable component just by drag and drop it in my test case, or you can say the test suite. And after that, I'll be talking about the different types of reportings that we have, majorly about the PDF and the HTML stuff. So let me just quickly run it. By the time it is executing, I'll be also talking about what it is doing and how you can see that how fast things are moving from login to navigating to different objects. In this case, it will be navigating from home to your lead object, and then try to create a new lead by identifying the new button and filling up the details on the lead new screen. Considering the dynamic nature of Salesforce, so once this is loaded, then you will see we have a lot of objects in Salesforce. So Katalon is able to identify those very smartly, and you can easily jump from one object to another very easily, which I'll be presenting. This demo is all about that only. And if you have any questions between, just feel free to ask in the chat section. Yeah. So, and also while we are working with Salesforce, one thing is that unless and until the application is completely loaded, that time is also smartly handled by Katalon. You can see that by the time it loads completely, then only the next action is performed, just to make sure that we are not encountering any sort of failures due to application not loaded properly. So those things are also internally handled. And if you want to know more about how to use Katalon and Salesforce in Salesforce testing, we have a lot of videos around that. We have a sample project around that. Just reach out to us and we can share back the details with you. Yeah, so it's on the Lightning interface of the Salesforce, and yeah, it's still in the loading phase. That's why the next step is not yet completely performing. So we will have to wait, and this is also being handled using the smart wait. So because let's say if you put a static delay of 10 seconds or 15 seconds, that is a waste of time. That will be what if your option is completed within 5 seconds. So you have to explicitly wait for the next 10 seconds. So with the smart wait approach, yes, it can save the rest amount of time. Of course, when we work with waits, we have to have explicit timeout. So yes, that you need to provide. By looking at the screens, it feels like everything is loaded, but yes, at the background still, see, the graph is loaded. So these actions, so all these things need to be taken care before you perform actions when you are doing automation testing on an application like Salesforce, right? So yeah, now it is ready and it will click on the lead. So I was talking about these objects that you see on the top. Let me just close this one. Yeah, so it will be navigating from home to your leads. Yeah, see the navigation happens. And then you see this aura spinner on this particular page. It means still the data needs to be loaded. Yeah, the buttons are loaded. Now it will perform the next action. So using the smart wait capability helps you to understand that how Salesforce being a dynamic application, why we consider this as a dynamic. And we have added a lot of features in Katalon to help you with your Salesforce testing. Yeah, now it will be filling up all the necessary field just to save some time to show you how it works. And those are your salutation, first name, last name, company, and the lead source. So it doesn't matter what type of field you are interacting with within the Salesforce, Katalon is able to handle each and every field that is inside the Salesforce. Yeah, whether it is a pick list, whether it is a text field, whether it is a checkbox. Yeah, now it creates and it closes the browser for me. Let me show you how the PDF report looks like. So this is the PDF report looks like. Let's quickly see what are the details information that we can have it over here. It talks about your execution environment. It talks about your summary. Right now, I have executed only a single script. So we'll see a complete summary, what happened, how many total test cases took part in the execution and stuff like that. Then it will give you a summary about each and individual test case. My test case name was lead management, where I will be logging and creating a lead and closing the browser. The overall status is pass. And then when you keep on moving down, it will talk you in detail about each and every test case. Like in this, it's the lead management. And here is what it has gone through. And we can also have some screenshots. I've added a screenshot before clicking on the save, just to show you how the screenshot look like while you see the reports. Yeah, it's very clear. This is the PDF version of the report. Next one, we'll talk about the HTML. I'll quickly take you to the HTML as well. Here is the HTML report. And in the HTML report, when you just expand these steps, you will see what exactly we are doing. We are opening the browser, we are maximizing the URL. So every steps are in detail, and it will also talk about the start and end time. So all the metrics that you need to see in terms of your reporting is also being captured and presented to you in the HTML report format. So I hope you guys like what you see. Thanks for watching this. Yeah. Questions, please.
And of course, I was talking on mute, so apologies for that. Okay, thank you, Victor. So we do have a bunch of don't go from videos yet. You're not off the hook, Victor. Come back.
Sorry.
We want you back. No worries, no worries. So we got a bunch of we got a bunch of questions here. So let's take the technical questions first. First of all, let's take Rakshit's question: is the smart wait different from the wait for the page load? And if so, please explain the difference. So Victor, take that one first, please.
Okay, so smart wait. First, you need me to answer about smart wait, and you mentioned that wait for page to load. So when you say page to load, it only works for your page to get loaded. Then you need to perform the actions. But smart wait is applicable for all, like page to load, applicate, or an element to be visible, or you want to have some delays between executions. So smart wait is something. Different weights combined together that you can say smart wait. But when you are saying wait for page to load, you know that you are only waiting for a page to load. That's all.
Okay, great stuff. So Rakshit, I hope that answers your question. The next question is, how are you handling dynamic elements? Record and play won't work in Katalon, from Jagan.
Okay. So when we talk about dynamic elements, so we have the special mechanism of capturing the elements in a dynamic fashion. So at the time of recording it, we have the option to capture and present the dynamic. Let's say I'm working on a lead, and every time the title is lead, but the name will change. So I know the attribute value name will change. So instead of giving, or at the time of adding it in as a static value, I'll be creating it through a variable signature like $, and then present the attribute value. So whatever the value it will capture, doesn't matter, it will be dynamic in nature, and you get the value, but just by getting that property value.
Great. All right, and then we have two more technical questions that have just come up now. So let's tackle those first. Can we have customized HTML? Actually, no. You know what? Let's go back, because this is relating to your previous question about dynamic locators. So how are you handling locators being changed with every Salesforce platform release?
Okay. So if you're talking about any sort of customization, like you are using Visual Force or you are using any Lightning Web Component around that, if something changes, or if you're talking about the standard approach where you introduced a new module and their things got changed. So we have an self-healing capabilities that will come into picture and don't give you any failures. Yeah, of course, it will try to heal that and show you in a tabular form that this is what got failed and this is what the fixed or the proposed locator is. If you want to fix this, just click on approve and everything would be, your maintenance effort would be reduced. Now talking about the customization, if you, let's say, of course, you can have different factors, like you can create dynamic locators to handle that. But in general, we have the self-healing mechanism to take care of these type of things.
Okay. Can you expand a bit on self-healing? Because there was a question earlier from Sakti Kumar, does Katalon have self-healing capabilities? And maybe also while you're at it, or Gokul, maybe you can expand a bit on the AI capabilities that are coming our way.
Okay, so I'll be talking about the self-healing part. So consider self-healing as a feature, which first thing, what self-healing, why self-healing is required. So self-healing is just required to reduce the maintenance. Yes. And how it helps you. Let's say I'm working on a module, I'm working on a login page. Just consider the login page, and I have two fields, username and password, and there is a login button.
Victor, we actually have a bit of time. Are you able to show maybe live in a live demo how it works?
Yeah, I need to just give me a minute, please.
All right, and while we do that, so just for everybody asking the same thing, QualityKiosk and Katalon Studio are not the same. So Katalon Studio is a product from Katalon. QualityKiosk is a service partner of ours, so it's a solution partner. While QualityKiosk has other partnerships in place with, for instance, Micro Focus, Tricentis, whatever. We also have other partners in that place as well. We have about 200 odd partners. None of us are dependent on each other, right? So both QualityKiosk and Katalon are completely separate entities, legal and commercial, as well as from a solutioning perspective. QualityKiosk does use the Katalon platform to power up their solutions, but for all intents and purposes, we are not the same. So you can either choose to go with QualityKiosk if you are engaging with QualityKiosk as a service partner in a particular account, or you can go with Katalon, or you can go with Katalon plus any other partner. So the choices are all out there on the table for you. And the Katalon Studio features and capabilities do not depend on QualityKiosk. QualityKiosk is just using us to build their own accelerator. So I hope that answers the question, right? And Victor, coming back to you now, to discuss about the self-healing capabilities.
Yeah. So what I did is in the login screen, there are a few options.
You're not screen sharing, by the way.
Oh, just let me share it one more time. Yeah. So what I did here is I deliberately break one locator, one reference of an object. And what was that? At the time of login, I break the locator for the password or the login button. But you see, it's still able to log in. And how that works is because of the self-healing capability. When I go in the console mode, you will see over here that it is unable to find something because I intentionally broke that. And how it looks like, something is that. So there would be no reference just by saying input. I haven't given any attribute locators like here. Then when it encountered that something is broken, the self-healing mechanism comes into picture, heals that for you, and let the test case execute. And that thing you can see under your self-healing insight that this is a broken locator. Let me just show you. See, this is the proposed one recovered by XPath. And if you want to see which particular element or which particular object you're talking about, just click on the preview. See, I broke the locator for the login. And then what you need to do, you just need to say, okay, I need to approve these broken locators. And then I just reopen it one more time to show you. See, it's back again at its own position. This is how the self-healing works. And if the self-healing was not configured, what happens? You will get a failure report saying that unable to find the element. So this is how the maintenance is reduced, you can say. Yeah. Okay. The next one, please.
All right. So while we're at it now, so let's just talk a bit about the AI features. So Gokul, maybe can you just give the audience a bit of a nugget with respect to what's available right now today and what's being released very, very soon in the next few days around the AI capabilities?
Sure. So there's a bunch of things that are coming up pretty soon here, right? From an AI standpoint, the different aspects, if you look at it. One is around authoring. So when you think about authoring, you're talking about creation of scripts. What we can do ultimately is help generate some of the scripts automatically through what we call as autonomous test generation. And that's coming to closed beta pretty soon here. What we would do there is generate a lot of the test cases based on an agent for web applications. So that's coming soon. We are having a ChatGPT based manual testing being generated pretty soon. So if you have Jira requirements, we would take some of those requirements and actually create test cases for you, manual test cases. And we are coming up with a code pilot kind of platform for Katalon Studio pretty soon. And that's also in the works currently. So these are some of the things that we are working on and to get across to the market.
Great stuff. Thank you, Gokul. All right, so we addressed the self-filling capabilities. We've addressed some of the other technical questions. Let's take Michelle Nugent's question. I thought that was from earlier on. How is the 2FA handled? So how is the two-factor authentication handled? Victor, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Right.
So for the two-factor authentication, generally what is the need to handle this? So Salesforce allow two-factor authentication. So either you need to use your mobile to allow the access for that particular session. So what you can do, you can create a connected app, and similarly, you can use the API test scenario or the API test case generation in Katalon, where you pass the authentication and everything so that it generates a token. And yes, Katalon allows that you log in through the API by giving all your session ID and the parameters, and then directly log into your the web view. So you start logging through the API, and then once the API login happens successfully, it will redirect to you to your web view. So yes, this is the way we handle the two-factor authentication. But the main thing is you need to have a connected app, and you need to pass the details like your customer key, client key, client secret, and of course your callback URL and the API authentication key.
Great stuff. Thank you, Victor. All right, Gokul, this is a question for us now from Vashant, saying, what are the current Salesforce modules supported by Katalon for automation? Is it Sales Cloud, Finance Cloud, Service Cloud, etc.? And if there are any accelerators readily available, can we share the GitHub links? So from Gokul, I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I mean, we work with multiple different tools of Salesforce in general. Sales Cloud and Service Cloud is something that we have seen with customers before. Not too sure on Finance Cloud, but I don't think it should be a problem. So it shouldn't work in general. Yeah, we are happy to share the GitHub link. Victor, do you want to paste the GitHub link with Salesforce scripts?
Yeah, just a minute, Gokul.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll put it in there. And again, if anybody wants to deal, so we have QualityKiosk on one hand, we have Deloitte who has built something around Salesforce as well. We have Katalon freeware, so to speak, assets in Salesforce. So we do have availability of some assets, right? Remember, each partner needs to work with their own accelerator. So QualityKiosk in this case have built something that's worthwhile, but you won't be able to use those accelerators unless you work with QualityKiosk. I want to be very, very clear about that, about the rules of engagement and how it works. All right. So that being said, let's move on to the next questions. We have another rather large question that was asked in the beginning by Shravani, which is, Victor, are you ready?
Yeah.
Number one, XPath identified through Katalon doesn't work most of the time when we use that with dynamic test data. I'm not sure what the question is, but I'm sure it's about locators and XPath, right? So number two, I have identified the XPath manually where the test cases work perfectly for a couple of months, but all of a sudden it stopped working and started showing the errors with the XPath. Can you please help me on these two challenges? So it's all about locators and all about the dynamic stuff that we referred to earlier.
Can we take that offline? Is there a way you can send us an email or we can coordinate offline? I don't know certainly that we can start answering debugging calls at this moment here.
For sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you, Gokul.
All right. Two questions for Saket now. So Saket, the first question is from Natalia. Could you clarify the point on automatic defect logging? That was one of the benefits that you had on your benefit slide. Doesn't QA have to review the issues found by automation to determine if it's a bug or a flaw in the script? So I know what you mean, but I would very much love for you to tackle that question.
Yeah, so that's right. We typically, if it's a regression script or a big script, we typically review it and make sure that it is actually a defect and not something that the automation script is failing for the object not found or something of that sort. But now that the scripts that we are talking about here are more of a sanity pack, which we are sure will work fine. And in case it fails, meaning there is some issue with the application and we want that to be highlighted right away. So these are run in the CI/CD pipeline and we have automatically logged bugs. So here we don't need that check to be done manually.
Right, but also just to be very clear, because I know where Natalia's coming from. You still have to take the bugs through triage, so that still happens by a human being. After they get logged, you still have somebody going through them top to bottom and saying this is valid, this is not valid, and just triage them, because this is not a fully fledged AI solution that doesn't require humans in the middle, right? So just to make sure. All right. The next question that we have is also relating around your procedures. And then can you describe how early bug detection can be accomplished using Katalon? So what was your experience in this particular case or client success story, and how this early bug detection helped you by using Katalon?
So when I say early bug detection is, so it is in twofold. So one is we did a lot of API testing as well, which was kind of shifting left. So that was done for all the integrations per se. And then secondly, we also did a round of regression testing along with, whenever there was a change introduced, the regression scripts were run or, were kept on automatic run. So that also helped us find the bugs even before, the entire CR testing was done. And the APIs, of course, helped us shift left and identify the bug early on before we could see it in the UI or the end-to-end integration. So that's what I meant by early bug detection. That helps us reduce cost overall as well, if finding bug early.
That is great. That is great. Okay. Thank you, Saket. Okay. We do have one more technical question for Victor, which was, can we have customized HTML reports? And if yes, how can we configure that? I think that's a subsequent question that you can take offline, but can you answer the question around having customized HTML reports, please?
We need to see on what is your requirement, what things you need to customize. If you can just give us some more detail, we can reach out with you more information on that.
Okay. So Tayyab, if you don't mind just reaching out to Victor, that'll be absolutely fantastic, and he'll be able to help you out with that. The other question that we had was, let's see, let me go down through the chat. How can the Kapado DevOps still be integrated? So so you need to contact Prabhakar. You need to speak to Gokul in this case, and we can actually show you how Kapado works in the bigger scheme of things. The other thing that we had was around Oracle. Let me just find that. Is it possible to use Katalon? So this question is from Marina. Is it possible to use Katalon for integration, verification, Salesforce and Oracle as part of order management flow? I don't see any reason why not. But Victor, just comment on that, please, if you can.
Yes, we can. 100% we can. Over here, Salesforce is a different application. Oracle is a different application. If you are able to access it through a web browser or through API calls, yes, we can.
Okay, great stuff. All right, and just because we didn't manage to get the polls going in the beginning, I'd like for everybody to just pay attention on the screen now. We're going to relaunch the polls. So we have this poll that is going to pop up on your screen now. So please answer this. What automation technologies have you used or have encountered in the Salesforce testing space the most? Copado, AutoRabbit, Flowsum, Tricentis, Microfocus, open source. Right. We haven't put Katalon in there because we obviously want you to be working with us further into the future, but we'd like to see also what is the spread between these various tools. Great stuff. So 5-6 people answered already. Please go on and answer that even more. And yes, we know that all the other major vendors in this space have Salesforce support capabilities. So we know Tricentis has our own page dedicated to that, Micro Focus as well, with EFT and Tosca. So it's a Micro Focus with EFT and Tricentis Tosca. So we're very much aware that everybody covers Salesforce. Obviously, the question for us is always in the context of the other vendors and Katalon, you have to realize that the other vendors are in the higher price range, whereas Katalon is in the lower price range, very close to open source. So when you do look at Salesforce as a testing target, all of these other vendors have great capabilities, including Katalon as well. But you also have to consider the pricing. So that's where we become probably the most affordable and the most flexible tool out of technology out of all of them. And that is the reason why we're having this particular webinar, to actually show you what was the art of the possible in Salesforce that, yes, can be achieved with others as well, but in the context of affordability and ease of use, right? Okay, so we have 17 people. Over 50% of the people have answered this. So thank you very much, folks, for participating in the poll. So we got a good combination of Copado, AutoRabbit, Flowsum, Tricentis, Micro Focus, open source, and others. And I would like to, if you can, maybe just put in the chat window what other tools you have encountered, because that'll be an interesting thing to read for us as well for the audience. The other question, there we go. Poll 1 is this. So let's share the results. There you go. You can all see the results. The other poll that we wanted to do really was around what types of webinars you would like to see with us going forward, and we would like to understand from your perspective whether you would like to see. There we go. Let's relaunch this. We would like to know if you would like to see more Katalon product focused webinars, or more industry focused, or both. So just please let us know. And also, if you want to see something specific to Katalon or something as a specific topic, please type it away in the chat box as well. All right. So let's give 1 more minute for people to answer that question. All right. So again, 50% has participated. Yeah, just like last time, a lot of people have put both. So we will definitely want to see more. And for the one person who has voted for the industry focused, don't worry. We will actually have some great webinars. I didn't mean it like that, but there will be a lot of industry focus as well. Okay. So yes, we are catering for that one person who's putting a lot of focus on the industry. Well, we don't want to get into a position where Katalon is just preaching Katalon and not actually thought leadership in the industry, which is great. Okay, so a webinar for automated testing Celonis. Okay, yeah, is of interest. Actually, Frank, very good recommendation. Thank you for that. Actually, we did speak about 2 weeks ago about Celonis, so funny you should bring that up today. That's great. Okay, so we are ending this poll now. Let's show the results. You can see there's 9 people who want to see more about Katalon, 1 person who wants to see more about industry, and everybody else want to see both. All right, so that was the end of the polls, and I think we got 1 more, but I'm not sure what the poll was. So I'm just gonna go in.
This is one question I wanted to take. What's the
Yes.
difference between smart wait and waiting for page load?
I
Victor,
think
do you,
Victor addressed that already.
you did? Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the last question was really about how satisfied you are with the webinar. I know you guys are probably flooded with these type of webinars where there's a lot of product pitch and a lot of use us because we're the best. We're just hoping that we're addressing some of the challenges that you've experienced in the Salesforce testing space, and hopefully get you more excited to see what's happening in the future, not just with Katalon, but also with our partners, right? And if you would like to connect with a Katalon expert, by all means, please do that. All right. With that being said, let's do a quick round of thank yous.
For the one person who was slightly satisfied, we're happy to work with you and try and see how we can improve this. We'd love to connect with you.
Yeah. That is great. Thank you. Cool. Okay, so Saket, thank you very much for being our guest host and talking about your experiences. Victor, thank you very much for your technical expertise. Go Cool. You and I have more webinars coming our way, so I'm not going to say thank you right now. But great stuff, guys. Thank you very much for the time. Much appreciated. And yeah, keep track of the webinars we're running, and we'll see you soon.
Yes. Thank you everyone for joining.